Oh, buddy. You know, and you'll have to pardon my disheveled appearance because I was at work today. What with me going to work and everything, I suppose. And uh, it's actually interesting because I had messaged my boss earlier, and like earlier today, whenever I got to my first store, and had said, "Hey, I'm not feeling the best. Once I get done with this store, would it be okay if I, you know, rescheduled everything and, I went home for the day?" And this was before. And she said, "Yeah, that's fine." And what's funny is that I started feeling a little bit better once I started doing some work and stuff. And I was going to get some I was fixing a refrigerator inside of a Lowe's, and you'll have to pardon this because I haven't really had the time to make myself presentable. Ton of a ton of messages. Sorry, I needed to mute my or do not disturb my phone. And um, why do I feel like I turned on my mobile hotspot on accident? There we go. But I was going out to my car to pick up or to get a couple of parts so that I could complete fixing one of the or replacing a part on a refrigerator in the store. And then my watch buzzed, and I looked down at it, and I took a look, and it said, "This is shooting at a school." And I like I kind of like just I stopped, like basically in the middle of, like, I was crossing over to, like, left the store, and then and I was going over to the other side, so into the parking lot, and I like basically stopped halfway through, and I had to take a moment and realize that you can't do that, and um I walked and I just walked across, and I just stood there, and I didn't know when I looked at it that it was because my watch. I don't think that either my watch didn't have all the info, or that it was an elementary school. And I had my phone, and I I sat down, and like, or I didn't I opened up my phone when I got to the car, and I looked at it, and that's when I saw that it was an elementary school. And at that point, it said that um, two people had died. And I sat down, like I couldn't, like I got I felt sick. I've been saying, you know, it's gonna be okay, and the kids are all right, and all of that stuff, and I believe that's true. But they're not all right if they don't survive. And see, whenever By the way, I did need to go home because I was sick, because I felt physically ill. By the way, as I am recording this, or as this is going on, um, Susan had a little field trip today with her school. They went down and they did some pretty cool stuff. Went down kayaking. She said there's an inflatable kayak, and I said, "Well, but how it floats like the other ones." Um, and as I am recording this, she doesn't know. She has no idea. And I told her, don't, like, 'cause I spoke to her just before this, and I said, babe, don't look at the news. Don't, just come home before you do. Um, but I have a friend of mine. Um, she's a teacher in Texas, and I wrote her, and she's in Arlington, which is Dallas Fort Worth for those of you that. And I said, "Are you okay?" And said, "Physically, yes. My heart is completely broken." And she said, "I've been laying in my bed since I got home because I just don't have the capacity to move or do anything." And a physical pain in her chest. As a teacher, I had a couple of things that I had kind of planned on doing, and I was in the middle. Had opened up, Adobe, and I was using Premiere, and I had it open, and I said, okay, let me do this, and I had this whole thing planned out where I was going to start the video, and in the video I was going to uh, uh, you know, basically I was going to have that as the intro and stuff, but you wouldn't know that it was the intro because it was me and looking, just like this. So either you're welcome or I'm sorry. And I was, and then I was going to look at the news and see what has been happening and what had happened today, except it was going to be that it wasn't that I had looked up the wrong thing and that it wasn't today, and went back to 1999 and April of 99, April 19th. Uh, I was a sophomore in high school when when Columbine happened. Uh, and and um, and then I was gonna be like, and then I had, oh, that's not right. I was in the middle of creating this. I have these videos, a lot of them downloaded. I was creating it to be like, oh wait, that's not right. And then kind of I had a little static, and go to the next one, and it was something else and something else and something else and something else. And uh I got to 2012 in Newtown, Connecticut. Wasn't that like the standard bearer for the fact that we knew there was one line you just don't cross, right? And by the way, what I mean by that is the line you don't cross is trying to convince people that firearm reform is a good thing after Newtown. That's the line. I couldn't make it. I could not finish that because it's not worth it. Hey, Russ. And we've been saying it. We've been saying it, and we've been saying it, and we've been saying it. And they have been telling you and telling you and telling you that it's gonna happen again. That somebody else is going to walk into an elementary school. Just like they've been telling you and telling you and telling you that a white supremacist is going to walk into anywhere. There is no sacred place. Wait, yes, there is. There is a sacred place. There is one sacred place, and it is in this skin. The sacred place is in this skin. Because it's all too easy for us to do it. But you didn't care when they walked into churches. You didn't care when they walked into an elementary school. You didn't care when they walked into a supermarket. You didn't care when they walked in to a Walmart in El Paso. You didn't care. You didn't care. You didn't care. Just like you didn't care when they murdered George Floyd. You know how I can tell you didn't care? Because this week is National Police Appreciation Week. Senator Amy Klobuchar on Sunday let us know pardon me for this, that it's National Police Appreciation Week. Thank you so much to all of the brave law enforcement people. The same week. You didn't care because you made it easier to get guns. You didn't care because not only did you not defund the police, you gave them more money. FYI, crime has gone up. Maybe the police, maybe how many police there are or how much money they have isn't, maybe it's not about that. But you didn't care. I'm or how about a couple 4 years, sorry, I'm sorry. Uh 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 hmm, 4 years ago, um I worked on a U.S. Senate campaign uh, for a guy named Beto O'Rourke. Two-years after that, well, not even 2 years, Beto was he announced his candidacy for president of the United States. Do I think that that was maybe ill-advised? Sure. Do I think he would have made a great president? I would have worked for his campaign. And he, while he was campaigning, a mass murderer drove from Dallas Fort Worth to El Paso, walked into a Walmart, and massacred people. And Beto stopped his campaign, paused his campaign, went home, didn't ask for any fucking money, went home, and helped where he could. And he went on, I actually have this stuff. He had, during a presidential campaign, they asked him about banning an AR-15, and he said yeah. And the police asked him again, or the police, but the press asked him again, and he said, hell yes, we're coming for your AR-15. Before any of you say, oh, it was a pistol today. That's not the fucking point. And we got this shirt. I still have a bumper sticker that I haven't ever put on my car, and it's got an AR-15, and it says Beto has a ban for that. I got the shirt. Susan has one, and it says this is fucked up. Over and over and over again. Mine has the quote on it. Do you know that he was considered unelectable? He's running for governor in Texas right now. And they use that against him. So do Democrats, by the way. If you think Democrats are here to fucking save the day, I urge you to remember the past 2 years. Or when they had the supermajority. Attacking him and using that against him, something that can literally only save lives. Unelectable. I'm not saying go and vote for Beto, right? I mean, if you're in Texas, maybe it's a good choice. I'm not saying that. You don't have to agree with me regarding his candidacy. I don't care. What I'm saying is that any politician who comes out and says, we actually have a plan for firearm reform is immediately considered unelectable. That's where we are when I say we don't care. Because you just is what is it, America? What exactly? Don't tell me it's your Second Amendment rights. Okay, go back and read what Alexander Hamilton wrote in Federalist 29 before you start talking to me about your Second Amendment fucking rights. It's not about that. It can't be. Do you just like killing people? Is that what it is? I mean, some of you do, obviously. Do you just like watching people die? Is that what do you just enjoy seeing people die? Is that what it is? Because let me just go ahead and point something out here when you say, but my rights matter. Guess what? Those school children who were murdered today, those elementary school children, the 10 black people who were massacred last Saturday, the 17 students who died at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. How many was it in El Paso? 27? The fact that we don't remember, but their lives matter more than my rights to own a gun. And Jack says, maybe I'm a dreamer, but I wish mental health care and health insurance were as easy to get as, a gun. Do you know that here in Oregon, this is fucking hilarious. In Oregon, right? So we're like we are the liberal bastion of well, not the liberal bastion, but we're like people hate us. People hate Oregon. It's hilarious. Um, it's not my fault we're better than you, but you don't have to hate us. Uh, did you know that in Oregon, um, you don't actually need to take a class? You don't need anything at all. No, you don't have to fire the gun one time. You can have a gun. Open carry state, all of that. But we don't have we have had, but we don't have what Texas does. Simp for the devil, I appreciate your honesty and um your strength to say that. I can't own a gun. I am I am I I I just I can't. Um but Texas, you glorify these things. There are people in Oregon, they're called Oregonians, by the way. And I see them every single day. They've got an AR-15 and then a play on words. They are more attached to their guns than they are anything else. Because before living in Oregon and saying I'm an Oregonian, the gun comes first. Think about think about what that means. But in Texas, in Texas, in Texas, it's a bit of a joke if you don't have one. I mean, and I say that as in it is literally a joke to people. Oh, you're from Texas? Where's your gun? Where's your gun and cowboy hat? It's literally a joke. That's how maddening this is. That it's literally a joke that you don't own a gun in Texas. Ask Ask the kids in Uvalde if it's a joke. Oh, you can't because they were murdered. People say, "Oh, oh yeah, how are you going to say? Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe they didn't have to die. Maybe we should consider that before we consider the fact that, oh, Nathaniel just said something that's, oh, how are you going to say that? That's not at the expense of the children. The expense of the children is the fact that they were murdered with a gun." And I see this today. This is what I see today too. I see everybody. Make sure you go and vote blue. I'm sorry. What? Go and vote blue. Why? So I can have more thoughts and prayers and zero action? Give me a reason to do it. I've been saying that for a long time. Give me a reason to vote for you. Does that mean that I'm not going to vote for Democrats? No, it doesn't. Because god damn it, that's the only thing that we have. But don't go out and tell me I need to be excited to go and vote for people who literally do nothing. If they did something, if they wanted to do something, they would. If they wanted to do something, they do more than like grovel at the feet of Republicans on the fucking Senate floor. How weak are you? Please, Republicans, have a heart, Republican. Motherfucker, get up and grow a backbone and yell at them. God. I don't like, I don't, it's a sexist saying, right? But it's be a man for once. Do something. In a campaign now against a Republican? You're going to show that video over and over again. Wrong with you? I don't disagree with the sentiment. I don't. Please figure something out. But don't get on your knees and beg them for something as if they care. If they cared, if they cared, they would have done something after Newtown. Because Newtown happened in December of 2012. And Republicans took control January of 2013. Or no, they took control in 2010, didn't they? Yeah, they did. There you go. Or was it 2012? I don't remember, honestly. Whenever Ted Cruz went, what year was that? That one. The Tea Party took control. They don't care. They take money from the NRA and they love it. And then you let them control this narrative. No. You got a problem. Your problem is being reactionary. If we actually decided we wanted to do something, which FYI, we don't, but if we actually decided we wanted to do something, then we would put action in place. We would have a plan to do something, but we don't. All we have are woke platitudes. That's it. And by the way, it's considered woke to ask for to advocate for firearm reform after a mass shooting. It's considered woke. Just so you know. Talking about the white supremacist who targeted black people in a massacre last weekend and mentioning the fact that he's a white supremacist is woke. Oh, this wasn't the white supremacist that he white supremacist everywhere. Oh no, it was a mental or something. Oh no. Stop being woke. Use your woke terminology. What are you, trans? You want to teach CRT? Huh? Is that what you want to do, you woke person wanting firearm reform? So you want to talk to kids about sex education, firearm reform, and the fact that we're systemically racist? Woke. And guess what the Democrats say? I don't vote for Democrats. Why? So they can be Nancy Pelosi and who's the other guy that support and phone bank for an anti-choice Democrat running for re-election in this area in Texas. That why? Why? So I can do that. So I being Nancy Pelosi. No, see, he's in the House. He's a black guy in the House. Um, but so I, as Nancy Pelosi, can walk forward and put and appropriate Black and African culture around my neck and kneel down in front of things on the. I'm like, oh my God, fucking stop it! I hope you get primaried. Because who was surprised? Who was surprised that this happened? Who? Pick one person that was surprised this happened. Is it a person who just moved to the United States that has no knowledge of this? Okay, okay, okay. Was it like a 5-year-old who kind of like just started figuring things out? That okay, that person would be surprised. Sure, I'll get that. But which of us was surprised? When we say that a person who has a plan for firearm reform is unelectable, can we be surprised when things like this happen? Republicans are off trying to fight against Disney. I bet that they're all really loving the fact that they don't get to watch Doctor Strange or the new Thor film. Well, they hate that anyways. It says, in gods we trust. What gun reforms would make a difference? Anything. Like, I don't need to spell it out. I don't need to go one by fucking step. Anything. Introduce something and push it fucking forward and get it signed. Something. Mind you, I'm in favor of repealing the entire Second Amendment. But since I know that will literally never happen, I'm in favor of making it the Hamiltonian version of the Second Amendment. And since I know that will never happen, I'm in favor of doing literally anything, something. Anything. And I don't, I, I don't mean to respond to you like I'm not responding to you. I hope that it wasn't. I hope that wasn't taken that way. I am simply saying it because that's what I always get. Oh yeah, big guy. Well, what would you do? Repeal the Second Amendment? Just saying. I would. I would do anything that other countries have done. Anything at all. Uvalde's great. I've been there too. It's like, oh, we can't do anything. What? And I don't want to hear a goddamn thing from Republicans right now. Oh, we're gonna. They already are, actually. It took them all of like less than a minute to bring up something racist and to tell us to it's not about the guns. Sure used guns to massacre people again. But I don't want to hear from those from the overturned Roe Republicans. Oh, you're pro-life, huh? Let those kids. No, 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 no. Guys, and uh, uh, let's point this out. Uvalde is a town they don't really put much focus, where they don't put much focus. Um, you see, white lives matter to them. So no, they don't care. When the person, when a person is presented with the body of a dead child and who has been murdered with a gun and responds by saying, well, we should put more guns in schools. I, I don't know. I that that person has I I like when that's the immediate response. We should have more guns in schools. As if the white supremacists last week didn't murder a man with a gun. You have guns in schools. When somebody comes in there and does something and you pull out your gun, the police are going to shoot you. I don't need to explain this. It's not an option. I don't need to get into the argument because it's not one. It is their way of subverting the issue, of getting around it. It's not an argument. Guns kill. That is it. That is all they do. That's all they're intended to do. They were created to kill. And certain weapons, many of them, exist purely to kill people. Putting guns in schools is not a solution. It is an excuse to sell more guns and kill more children. Okay, babes. I love you. That's it. It's an excuse to do nothing, sell guns, and kill children. That's all it is. And then rake in those sweet, sweet dollars. And if that upsets you, it ain't me. Millions and millions and millions of people have marched in the streets and have protested and have put things on the ballot and have told you that we want change. And you do nothing, and we forget about it because you're trying to take away something else, and it happens again. We aren't even, prior to today, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. What is today? Monday? Is today Monday? Sure. 2 days ago, I looked at the CNN app on my phone and I recorded like the screen, and there were two mentions of what the white supremacists did in Buffalo. And the entire thing, like 7 different things talking about Ukraine. Not that Ukraine doesn't matter, because it certainly does. But that was, oh yeah, white supremacists shooting Buffalo. All right, moving on. Let's talk about how Ron DeSantis is going anti-woke. And let's talk about all these things that grocery stores get you to do to spend more money, which was literally a thing that was on there. You know, no, we're not going to talk about we're not going to talk about the white supremacist who went and did a white supremacist movement. We're not going to talk about what he wrote on his weapon. We're not going to talk about the things that he wrote. Oh, it gets in the feelings too much. You know, it'll be offensive to some. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I bet you would like it. I bet that there was a few people that I think it would be offensive to. We should ask. Oh, right, we can't because a white supremacist murdered them. Maybe getting maybe getting shot with a gun is a bit more offensive than talking about why it is necessary to make change. Sorry, did I offend some of the snowflake hashtag 2A folks out there? I don't care. If you can't sit down, look at me, and say, yeah, people use guns to kill people, and then follow that up with, and I agree that we should do something, then you have no empathy, and I have nothing to say to you. But this is America. This is an American institution. Put it on the fucking flag. Baseball, apple pie, invading other countries without their permission, subverting other governments for our own geopolitical gain, invading a country and under the false pretenses so we can go and steal their oil, uh, uh, saying we're allied with something, and the only reason why is because we want to use them as a pipeline, literally and figuratively, to get more oil. Mass shootings, and which includes school shootings, just all America. exploiting exploiting black student athletes. and then tossing them to the side when when their athletic worth is gone, making movies like The Blind Side. And look at this great white family who saved. Oh my God, they're so great. What? We have a fucking problem. We look at something like that as if it's good. Just like we look at something like the pursuit of happiness as if it is something to be celebrated. And we say, "See? That black guy made it. How come the rest of you can't?" And we ignore the problem. We also ignore the fact that that person had to work for like 6 months. I say work without being paid under the while competing against people without being paid again, while he did not have a home, nor did his son. While multi-million-dollar white guys looked down and were like, "Oh, okay, so we have to choose one of them." And look, which I'm happy for the guy, but to use that as a success story, right, is like being the person, being the one person whose house wasn't destroyed by a tornado and saying, "Wow, we were lucky," while ignoring everything else. Thoughts and prayers to the other houses and the other families, right? And it's ignoring them. We have ignored. Children told us. Children told us that they wanted things to change, that they needed things to change. Children told us that. Oh, what do what do kids know? I mean, come on. They're just being murdered in their classrooms. What could they possibly know? What could black people know about their lives? Come on. It's not like they're being oppressed. I was stuck in traffic earlier. Also, I grew up poor. Why can't they get out like me? What could they what how come? It doesn't make any sense to me. Been telling us. And they're not on their knees in Congress pleading with Republicans to do something. They're surviving in schools. And by surviving, I don't mean they're going and doing their homework and somehow figuring out how the fuck algebra works. No, they're literally trying to survive. This is the only reason that I would ever be in support of school choice. Period. Because I'm terrified to send my children to school because there is a non-zero chance that they'll be fucking murdered. And it's yeah. See, here's the Here's the truth, right? As if things that I've been saying so far haven't been. I don't care if you agree with me. I haven't. I challenge you to find something that I have said that's not true. Is that it matters. It matters why a person does these things. It does. It matters if they're a white supremacist. It matters if how many Ks? Three Ks? Is that what it is? Carlson fans these flames of hatred. It matters because it gives us a, a pathway to figure things out and to try to mitigate this hate. That matters. But that's not here's the other true part of that. That's not political. It's not political to say that. It's not. It is not saying that we should figure out why a person did something, investigate it, and then figure out a way that we can get around, like not get around, but to mitigate it is not political. It's simply true and it's the right thing to do. It's also not a political statement to say if something is causing harm, then we should do what we can to lessen, if not eliminate, opportunities to cause harm. I hope that I have made that clear, and I hope that it is. I would hope that that's non-controversial. I if if hey, you're smoking. It can only cause harm. You should stop. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not going to stop. Okay. Well, I can put some things in place that will make it more difficult for you to find excuses to smoke. And so we put taxes on things, and we also post things that are like, yo, motherfucker, you're going to die. Those kinds of things where we also, and then again, we tax again and we tax again. Like in Washington County here, we just voted to uphold something that makes it illegal in Washington County to sell flavored vapes and makes it illegal to sell anything that is flavored at all. And so that makes it more difficult for a person to access the thing that murders them. You see? And it's non-controversial. You may not like the method, but it is non-controversial. And it doesn't actually take anybody's freedom away. By the way, there's nothing in the Constitution that says you're free to smoke a cigarette, so fuck off. There are ways to look at firearms and say, bad. And there are ways to look at this and go, maybe we should do something about it. Okay, here we are. And then there are ways to say, now let's actually do things that we have decided we can do. And because we are not going to repeal the Second Amendment in its totality, okay, let's make moves that make it more difficult. Do that. I realize that we're not going to. I know that. It is an unfortunate reality in the United States. We are not going to do anything. Gabby Giffords was shot in the head and has advocated for firearm reform in Arizona and around the country, and they don't listen to her. Shannon Watts had a child who was murdered in Newtown. Advocates. She has Moms Demand Action. She advocates for firearm reform, and they brush her off. March for Our Lives. Remember that? Still exists, by the way. I have a shirt. And they brush them off. Oh, they're just kids. I'm not going to listen to some kids. Forgetting the fact that they survived a school shooting. On a week in which we have a memorial for George Floyd, which is tomorrow, 2 years tomorrow, and making it the same week that we have the Police Appreciation Week that we announced it on Sunday, shows, first off, they don't think that Black Lives Matter. We've already known that. But they just keep showing us again. Democrats show us the same. But it's an example of what's going to happen here. I'm surprised none of you asked about the camera today. I usually get somebody that comments about the camera. I'm sitting here and I'm going through and I'm researching things for I'm speaking with Alicia Abbott on Friday morning, which will be, I guess, like what is today? Is today Monday or Tuesday? It's Tuesday. No, it's Monday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Oh wow. And I'm talking to her about on Friday morning about something that happened in Idaho in November of last year, and then also talking about the Greater Idaho movement, and if we have the time, we're going to talk about firearm laws and how they are the same and how they differ in Oregon and Idaho, and I'm sitting down and I'm getting ready for that, and I'm ensuring that I have brushed up on my that was cool. I don't know how that happened, but I'm looking forward to having a discussion with. Wow, I forgot his last name. His PhD though. What is his last name? Oh yeah, Joseph. I think Joseph A.P. Wilson. I think it's Wilson. I think so. Oh, I'm gonna get that wrong. I want to make sure I don't get his name wrong. And we're discussing, yeah, Joseph A.P. Wilson. Yeah, and okay, so and Alicia says very focused on voting access and education, and then of course and Christian reconstruction. So things that we're going to be chatting about, and so I'm doing. We're talking about the Q documents, and we're having that, and then I'm also brushing up on like Adobe Animate and going in and using things again with Adobe, the softwares and stuff like that, all this Adobe software, so that I can actually create more stuff with animation, because I have stuff that I want to make with, again, still the history of Oregon and the history of Portland and how people really need to know about it. It's white people. And we have proposals for like tolling here, like tolling the roads, and whether that would be a good or a bad thing. It's doing research on that. And I have all this stuff that I want to do. And then the United States reminds me that we are bad. Just all around bad. And we've been that way since the beginning. We've changed very little. And it makes it so that it's difficult for me so then I feel the necessity to come on here and say, because otherwise I don't know what I'm going to do. And it it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to sometimes talk about. And I say that because it's literally difficult to uh, to 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 talk about. Thank you, babes. Like like mm, like because I have uh uh um so I have I um I don't I don't know I don't know the last time that I woke up in the middle of the night. I don't know. I hope that it's been a while, but it's terrifying, and it it it, it makes it very difficult for me to talk about things like this. Um, and I have other things that I've like been like diagnosed with, and I take medicine for them. And medicine can only do so much like uh before something can eh, I I I I don't uh I don't talk about it. I don't like to talk about it, because first off, this isn't about me. This and I don't want to um I don't want to take it away, the focus away, and put it on myself, because it's not about me. Um, but like I I see these I it it does something and I and it hurts. Um, and I I wish that we would do something because people are dying, but we won't do anything, and more people are going to die. Where tomorrow is somebody going to die? There's not a place that's safe. You have people that they white guys that they walk in to the Kentucky State House and the Capitol armed with guns, and they get let in, and they have guns, like like not like pistols either. They have real guns. Like, not that pistols aren't real, but they have, and they just walk in. They could have done anything. It They were trying to kill the vice president last January. That- And I don't want to talk about it because it makes me ill, and it it I have like episodes, but like if we if we don't, and if we don't not only demand action but actually go and force them to do it, then more and more and more people are going to die. Like, I mean, I literally can barely talk about it. Like, I have real issues with it. That I know that I can't not say something. No matter the small audience that listens to my stuff, I don't care, because it doesn't matter how like how big the audience is. If somebody hears something, I'm over an hour. Oh, my 10 minutes. I don't I don't know. Um I hope to have something something better. in the next another video or something. I don't know. Maybe I can do like something else with Lego stuff again. Russ, I do have some ideas of what to do with the hour of time-lapse content with building with the Millennium Falcon. Susan and I have been talking about it. I do have some ideas, but nothing yet. I just hope that the next things that I have that we do are not this. I think that's it. Yeah, I do have it. It's an hour long. It's just over an hour. It's not the whole thing. It's it's I think from like step seven or something. But regardless, step seven, each of those things. Um. Oh, I'm sorry. Mm, I really need to turn the captions on. I'm sorry. Um. But it's an hour long, and so I just have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So, um, thanks for watching or listening, and I hope that uh, yeah, Russ, I know. I hope that's all. I just hope. Braywin, God's favorite hat, Russ, Susan, whoever else was in here earlier. I don't know. Simp for the devil. All of you folks, Jack. Only reasonable choice. Corporate Democrats are just like Republicans. Um, thanks for watching. Love you. Oh, because I'm not using StreamYard. I have to click and you're going to hear it. Sad day. Click.